is indeed with great pleasure that I welcome you to this auspicious occasion, the graduation ceremony for the Fire Prevention course number 1 of 2013. I especially welcome all the graduates, including myself, being members of the Fire Authority of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, to the opportunity to become true experts within our various departments, sections, and even the communities in which we reside. I urge each of us to work together and support each other in our individual development with the common goal of lifting the standards of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service as a whole. So again, with great pleasure and great expectation, I say to you all, welcome.
On Monday, the 6th of January 2014, the Fire Prevention course number 1 of 2013-2014 began with 27 firefighters who were selected from the North, South, and Central divisions to attend. Tobago personnel did not attend, as there will be a fire prevention course mounted in that division in the near future. This course was coordinated by me, and I was assisted by 2751 firefighter Ramsey. The duration of the course was for 4 weeks, and after the first week, participants realized that this course is not what they expected. It is much more. The course carries with it a lot of work, responsibilities, and dedication, all to the development of the fire officer. Additionally, there were specific tools necessary for the fire prevention officer to function as professionals. A professional who can advise, recommend the correct policies, guidelines, and procedures to members of the public as it relates to fire safety in the home and at work. The participants were lectured to by competent officers about all aspects of fire prevention. Those officers came from the North, Central, and Southern divisions. I would like to acknowledge Acting Fire Station Officer King, Fire Sub Officer Noel, Fire Sub Officer Regis, Fire Sub Officer Blackman, Acting Fire Sub Officer Antoine, and Gibbs, along with number 3810 Firefighter Gavin, for their valiant and admirable contributions. There was also an external lecturer from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service who presented information on a meaningful and very important topic, which was courtroom procedures. This officer guided participants on how to present evidence in court as a fire officer. I would like to acknowledge Sergeant Ian Carty of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Legal Department for his contribution. Some of the topics delivered to participants were building construction, extinguishers, plan drawing, storage practices, fire investigation, report writing, event safety, courtroom procedures, legislation, codes of practice, means of escape, and risk assessment. Along with the theory, there were practical exercises on plan drawings, courtroom procedures, fire inspections, and fire investigations. The class was also fortunate to conduct a fire investigation on an actual fire scene at Long Circular in Davie. This experience created in the minds of participants new awareness to conducting a fire investigation, as the theories, procedures, and tools were now used. I am sure the class will not forget this, because they now understand it is not easy to determine the cause of a fire. During the course, there were the usual shifting of lectures due to lecturers being unable to attend. My assistant and I did not make this a problem. We took immediate or proactive measures, all towards the edification of the class. It was either group activities or presentation skills. These activities brought out enthusiasm among the groups, and it became evident that they all had that thirst to learn more. The class involvement and performance of these activities were exceptional, and they welcome the critique by Firefighter Ramsey. At times we engage the class in healthy discussions. These morning dialogues were triggered from various quotes and explained in relation to fire prevention. This was geared towards opening the minds of participants because as fire prevention officers, you must not adopt that stereotype pattern of thought. Some of these quotes were, the why is more important than the what, and is the thought more important than the act. As coordinator of this course, I must make recommendations for the development and capacity towards future courses. 1, the duration to be extended from 4 weeks to 6 weeks. 2, the introduction of practical inspection exercises at various facilities throughout the country. 3, adequate provisions for the comfort of participants, coordinators, and presenters. 4, the number of fire prevention courses be increased from 2 to 5 per year. 5, the production of a fire prevention training booklet that can be presented to course participants on each course. And 6, persons successfully completing this course be assigned to the fire prevention department to acquire experience. In closing, I must say this course was successful and the participants received the knowledge and skills required to function in the fire prevention section. As I leave, permit me to state according to Miles Monroe, you were born with a purpose and for a purpose. So then class, what is your purpose? Thank you.
For the past 4 weeks, I have been granted this opportunity to share a classroom with this excellent group of men and women. It has been fun, yet a tough journey. I've learned a lot from them, and collectively, we have attained the knowledge to aid us to become better firefighters and future officers in the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. It is said, one of the leading causes of death in the world is fires. It is sad, but it is true fact. Most people all over the world assume and say, oh, I know about fire safety. Just have an extinguisher in your house or business, and if it catches a fire, call the fire service. This is just barely grazing the service of fire prevention. Yes, having an extinguisher is very important, but do you know where you're supposed to keep it? How often you need to check it? How many you need? When to test them, and so on and so on. It is expected that not everyone knows about fire prevention, but that's where people like us, fire prevention ambassadors, that can educate, demonstrate, and guide the public about fire safety.
Well done. I think for the officers who are here, who have not been to any of our sessions, have a clear and concise view as to what took place over the last 4 weeks. Right? Thank you very much again, Officer Ramsey. Soon. At this stage, we'll have the feature presentation done by none other than the Chief Fire Officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, Mr. Nair Officer.
Thank you very much. And I'm happy to be here and to listen to the presentation from all the participants. And it tells me a lot. It tells me that we have a group of people here, from what I see, show a high sense of professionalism, shows a high sense of dedication, shows a high sense of commitment. And that goes not only for the participants, but for the instructors and the senior officers in charge of the division and the fire service school. It gives me an impression of a certain amount of seriousness that goes with your professionalism. to do a good job, to let the fire service shine, to shine outside here in the public, to bring information out to the public that could raise the level of fire safety. I am sure that all this would have come not because of our role and function, which is enshrined in the Fire Service Act, but because we see so many deaths. As you say, fire is one of the leading causes of deaths. And we see so many deaths by fire, that if we could go out there and touch the lives of our citizenry and to educate them, we feel that we could prevent them from dying in fires. And I think that this training has become so important in terms of building that capacity in the fire service. And I want to congratulate you all for rising up to the challenge, because what I see here really has made me quite impressed, and to do so much more for the fire service and for officers and the development in fire prevention. And I know that you have detailed many things in terms of what you want to see new in the program. But I must tell you that we have come from a very long past in developing this program. Because here it is, you have a program where we now start to have field visits. Before all this, we used to have a classroom. People would sit and you would have a lecturer, like in the school days, where you have someone just teaching, and you have the students just listening. But now we have moved from that point to where we have a more participative discussion, where lecturers themselves can learn because of the research that is being done by the participants. And now participants are challenging the lecturers. So you have that interaction in the classroom, and this facilitates learning. More than that, you would have had your field visits at the islands of where we had the investigation, the fire investigation. Might have been in a remote area from what I've been hearing. But probably they were trying to mix a little outdoor, more remote outdoor activity with the fire investigation thing, which would have, provide for some form of physical exercise and relaxation. But nevertheless, the objective was to teach you about fire investigation. The point is that you didn't have that kind of exposure. So we have come a long way in training and developing. We have also had the experts in different areas of fire prevention. One of the areas that I think that we have to develop is the area of making presentations, not only as I see here, I'm very impressed, but in the court, where you become the expert in this. I think that you would have learned quite a lot from the police officer who would have come and made his presentation. Now I listened to the course outline, and I see that the course really covered many areas in legislation so that it could facilitate code enforcement in terms of safety codes, that you could do proper inspections. In terms of engineering, because I hear about the drawing of plans and the reviewing of plans and the positioning of various fixed installation, fire safety provisions in buildings, which also is very important. Because here it is, in building this whole culture of fire safety, you as a fire prevention officer need to understand building designs and drawings. You need to understand about sprinkler systems. You need to understand about hose reels, about smoke detectors and how they operate and where to position them along. You need to understand the legislation, as I say, so that you can guide people outside here, ensure that people don't infringe on the law, break the law, breach the law. So that is really wide learning. And it fits into the vision that we have for the fire service, because those of you who would have heard me before, hear me talk about the disaggregated of the fire prevention section into 3 distinct units. Into fire investigation, which I saw also well covered in the reports. Inspections, and last but not least, and this is the education part, community safety. So that the course really was very compact and intensive, and perhaps, as they say, we need to review the time frame in which the course is being conducted, so that probably it could move, as they say, from the 4 weeks into the 6 weeks. Because as you leave here, you must leave here with full knowledge of fire prevention and fire safety, that you could fit into any one of these areas. But this is the vision for the fire service as we go into the future. But we need to develop more infrastructure to do the things that we want to do. To restructure the organization like this, we need to have new facilities, and we need to expand the whole establishment, increase the manpower. And these are the things that we need to attend to prior to fully putting into place that structure for fire prevention. Somebody at one time talked about a fire prevention bureau. But as I say, all that is going to be broken down into 3 distinct areas. So that right now the human resource officers are preparing the proposals to increase the whole establishment of the organization. Right now I am making recommendations to buy utility vehicles for the fire prevention officers to use, for the people who do fire investigation to use, trying to equip every fire station with a utility vehicle. Right now, I am trying to build new fire stations. And right on the drawing board, we have, in 3 different phases, 15 new fire stations to be built. 15 new fire stations to be built. And as I speak, tenders are being invited for the construction of the new Mayaro station. We have already reviewed the design drawings, conceptual design, and the design drawings for the Mayaro fire station. We have looked at the drawings for the Lady Hales fire station. We have looked at the drawings for the Aruka fire station, and that's a brand new station. Aruka and Mayaro. So this is how we expanded the service into the remote areas so that we could provide the best emergency response to the people in the outlying districts. Because as you all know, that we need to look at what is our response time. And if our response time is too long, then it's a waste of time. Because our response time must be 8 minutes or less, according to the international standards, so that we could make a meaningful intervention in emergencies, in fire. So when we build these stations, in these stations we're going to put an area for community safety. And we're going to develop our fire prevention unit. Again, as we disaggregate it into different areas that I talked about. So we have a lot of plans for the fire service. So don't ever give up. I know we're faced with many constraints, many constraints. But after listening to you all and looking at your seriousness and the professionalism displayed, I think we have a group of people here willing to take this organization to very high heights. I talked some time ago about lifting the bar, raising the bar of the organization. I think perhaps around this time, since I assumed office, you would have been seeing the whole profile of this organization being raised. You would have seen our officers commenting in the media based on my instructions and my guidance. You would have seen I myself making comments in the media. You would have seen a lot of video clips in the media. Our fire prevention perhaps was the most, let's say, explosive in a long time. First time that we had this kind of publicity as a fire service. So that you carry a responsibility, every one of us, carrying the whole image of this organization. So when I see your performance here this morning, I know that this service is in good hands. not just as a fire prevention officer, but as an officer representing the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service. Again, as I made my address at our end of the year function, promotion has been a very sore point. We have many vacancies right through the ranks of the organization. These vacancies were not filled and more continue to be created for the longest while. I have had discussions with the DPA and more discussions and even with the association as well, because they themselves are interested in ensuring that our officers fill certain positions in the organization, positions that they rightly deserve. There's so many people acting and they can't be appointed. So that in discussions with the DPA and the association with their input as well, we have agreed on the point system. We have final agreement. And the DPA has assured me that she's going to take that forward to the commission. And when the commission signs off, she's going to put a team together to do the assessment of officers for the various positions. Now a lot couldn't be done before because they didn't have a full commission, a full quorum. There was a vacancy in the position of deputy chairperson. But that position has now been filled, so that we expect to have that work accelerated. So that we hope in the near future that we will be able to complete this exercise where we assess people and we put them on a merit list. And people are going to be promoted very soon. Because this is something, I mean, so many people have been acting and they have been leaving the organization without being appointed, without being, and it's something that I want to address. So promotion is what I think is high on the agenda. You would have seen as well, I try to motivate the people by allowing them to wear the rank markings, even though they act. Some people like it, some people don't like it. But I believe that if people in the first division, officers in the first division could wear the rank marking, then why deny the officers in the second division? And so I have opened up the entire rank structure for anyone who is active to wear the rank marking, because you deserve some kind of recognition. And as well as you act, I have been asking my HR people, and many of you would have been seeing the increases in your salary, that as you act, to pay you the acting allowances. And we continue to address all the gaps in the payment of all the different allowances. Your proficiency allowance, even your qualifying examination allowance, your laundry allowance, and so on. Your driving proficiency allowance. So, a lot of exciting things going to be coming, a lot of things that I have to address that were not addressed in the past. And because all these things were not addressed in the past, you find that there's so much now that we have to do. And sometimes some things happen and sometimes you feel that for me it's not happening fast enough. And for you now, because of so much, you think that it's coming, and it's not coming fast enough as well. But let me assure you that it is in fact happening. As a matter of fact, I've asked the accounts to start sitting on Saturdays, start to clear up the backlog of arrears of allowances and stuff. Because you need money to live. You need money to live, right? And it's something that you would have earned. And we just can't continue like that. But we would have paid all the back pay, except for, I think, 13 or 14 people outstanding because of classification of sick leave and so on. We had some problem with those issues. For those who are familiar with how the administration operates. But we're trying to regularize that. And then, of course, those with other issues, we try to deal with them on a one-to-one basis in terms of any problems with the payment of salaries or allowances and so on. So many, many exciting things happening. And if we work together, here I am with my administration listening. One of the things I saw as a young officer coming up was that our senior officers failed to listen. That they thought that running an organization was just remaining at the top and giving instructions. But I think that it has to be, and I will talk about what is called the bottoms-up approach. That if we don't listen and to hear the views of our personnel at the ground level, then we can't do anything to motivate them, to keep them happy. It is only by listening we understand the problems at the ground level. It is only by I coming here and understand that, as Mr. Stanley was saying, that we need better, more comfortable conditions for learning and development. And Chaguaramas Fire Service Training School going to be a new school that will also be coming in the first phase of the development. In the first phase of the development of building new facilities, I talk about Mayaro, Lady Hills, Aruka, that is 3. We have Chaguaramas, we have Woodbrook, we have Pinal, also a brand new station coming on stream. So that as we build these stations, we're going to provide the facilities for better learning. So that those who are going to come after me and after the more older officers and senior officers who are going to be leaving with me, those who come in after all of us will have it nice. Because we would have made a proper platform for you. A platform for which you could now lift off and sail the sky, sail the seas. And then sailing the seas, as I say, now you have your rough waters. But we're going to come through it. Right? But we need your support. We need everybody's support. We need all hands on deck. You understand? And you may have a problem, but do it in a decent way. Do it in a civilized way. You know, you may have problems. You don't run to the media. You don't try to malalign. You don't try to discredit. You know, bring it up in a meaningful way. And I try to encourage my officers to listen so that we can work with you all. At the end of the day, I provide the resources. At the end of the day, you do the work. You make us look good. You are, I think, the most important people in the organization. Because without you, we can't put out fires outside. But why we want to put out fires when we could prevent them? And that's why we have this course. So that you could study and learn about fire prevention, about fire safety. And hence the reason why I commend this program and I congratulate you all for doing this course. And somebody say after this, what it is you're going to do? What is your purpose? What is your purpose after this program? Someone was talking about that. And I say to you, teach the others. Teach the others, motivate them. Let them know that this is a wonderful place to be in. This is a wonderful organization to work in. We're going to have our ups and downs. But at the end of the day, we want to fly the flag of this organization high. We must fly the flag of this organization high by our conduct, by our behavior, by every word that comes out of our mouth. We must use that to make this organization shine like a star in the sky. We all could do it. Don't ever bad talk this organization. This is the organization that gives you food on the table. Put bread and butter in the mouths of your children and your family. And always think about God as well. Because you need God's protection. This is a dangerous job. This is a high-risk job. And as we talk about this, you need better compensation. And I have been reviewing the submission by the association. And they are in fact asking for better terms and conditions of service, better salaries. When we look at the other organizations who would have gotten 10% and we settled for 5%, and so many other allowances, we deserve better. I want to assure you that I have already spoken to my deputy and my top administration to support, whatever is good for our fire officers, a better compensation package. So that I'll say a lot of good things in store and it's going to come, but it will take a little while. But it will come. It will come. So have the faith. I trust in God, believe in God, continue to pray, and just do the work conscientiously. This fire prevention training is so important. So I have said a lot, although I wanted to just be brief. But I'm glad that I came, and that you could pass the word now on to the others. As I say, what is your purpose after here? Is about implementing this training that you would have acquired, the competencies that you would have acquired. Implement it, and don't forget to train others. When you go out there, talk this organization to, talk your administration to, talk your officers to. Use the time to develop yourself more. Right now, we are asking people to apply to attend advanced training in fire prevention, which probably some of you would have applied. And I tried to create the greatest transparency into it. So I set up a whole panel to interview. Never before you would have seen as station notice, inviting people to apply for courses. Normally the chief officer used to hand-pick a few people and send them. I thought that we should get everybody involved, whoever is interested. So we would have had interviews the last few days for those who would have applied. And there's a selection process. The point system, a merit list would be established. But my intention is to train everybody, but not everybody could go. So that those who could go would go now. But the intention, the strategy for training is to bring the instructors from away. And we could train more people in mass. You understand? It's the best way, it is the more cost effective way. But for now, we have to do as we do. Right? So let me thank you all for listening. Right? As I say, put the knowledge that you have gained into good use. Congratulations. Congratulations to the organizers, all the instructors. Right? I want to thank you for listening, and God bless you. Thank you.